This is my presentation for my Genshin Impact TCG. I'm going to start with an overview, and this is just the cards to begin with. On the left are the character cards. They all have different moves, and they all start off with the same HP of 15. You start off with 4 characters in your party that you will get at random, so you can't strategize your party. And then you use the skills to take out your opponent's team. Some moves may have a higher attack than others, and that's because, for example, if you look on Tainari's card, his is 2 for his skill, and that's just because the next attack your enemy does, they do 2 less damage. However, Guide to Afterlife on Hu Tao is a sacrificing move, where she sacrifices her own HP for extra damage. So it's a good way to strategize with main DPS damage dealers and either healers or support characters. Enemies. You can draw an enemy card from the shared deck, and when you get one of these, you can put it in front of one of your characters to protect them while you heal them, or just recuperate a strategy and so to make sure you don't die if you're on low health, especially if you only have a few characters left. There are different types of enemies with different amounts of health. The Hilly Chill Swarm is the most basic one with only 2 HP, and it can go all the way up to Lava Chills, which have the most HP, and there's 4 different types. Food is a way to heal your characters. They have 1 star, 2 star and 3 star, so you can either heal 1, 2 or 3 HP depending on what the food is. You cannot use food on enemies, it's purely for your characters. And for example, if your character had 13 HP, but you used a food that regenerated 3 HP, it wouldn't go to 16, it would max at 15. Character wishes. Character wishes are a way to exchange characters in your party. If you get 1 character wish card and you use it, then the character you'll get will be random. If you have 2 cards, if you save them up and use them both at once, then you'll be able to choose which character you want to pick specifically. The damage, if your character that you swap out has damage on it, then the damage will then go onto the character that you swap in with, so it doesn't negate the damage, so it isn't a way to like scuff the system or anything. Once you've exchanged a character, you cannot exchange that character again. So you need to be careful if you accidentally exchange the wrong character. Commissions. Commissions are a way to get artifacts for your characters. Artifacts will buff the characters. You send off a character for a set amount of turns. Depending on how many characters you set off, the turns increase. And if you send 3 characters off and your 1 remaining character dies, then you have lost the game. So you need to be careful strategizing with how many characters you send off. Expanding on the commissions, these are the artifacts on the left. When you successfully complete a commission, you get to spin the elemental wheel and see which element type artifact you get. This is a high risk, high reward situation because you may not get an element that you have in your party. However, if you don't have that element, there is still a chance that your opponent does, so it will stop them from buffing their own party as there is only 1 of each element. Energy recharge particles. Energy recharge particles were developed near the end. They were a way to make sure you weren't just spamming out the elemental bursts like repeatedly and immediately killing your enemy's party. Every time you use an elemental skill, you will receive an energy recharge particle or an ER token, as you can see on the right. you can save up to 15 of them, oh sorry, 20 of them, because there is 40 in the deck. You can save up to 20 of them, but if you get up to 19 or 20, then you have to use them. You're not allowed to collect any more. It takes 3 energy recharge particles to do a burst, and even if you've got even if you use a burst, if you have 3 more energy recharge particles, then you will be allowed to use a burst again the next round. There's no cooldown on them as long as you have energy recharge particles. These are my iterations. In total there were 6 main iterations. However, as you can see with version 4, if I didn't do a playtest and I just thought it was something that I needed to change or add, then they were point versions rather than full versions, just so I could see how many times I had playtested it. Version 1 and 2 were just scaling issues, because I started off with like almost 2000 HP on each character, which looking back at it now was a lot. I don't know why I thought that would work. Version 3 was adding risk and reward. I had to add a risk and reward system, which is how I came up with the commission system, as it was a way to risk your character and your party. However, when you come back, it'll benefit you, even if you don't spin the wheel and get an element that you want. It'll still benefit you in the long run if your opponent has that element, as I said earlier. Version 4 and version 4.1, as I said, these were just things that I thought I should update myself, is I added the Primo Gym system, which is the team changing system where you can swap out characters you want or at random depending on how many cards you have. And I also added in the energy recharge system. As I said, this came quite late. This was like the last main thing I did to add in. And this was just a way to balance out how many times you could use your elemental burst, so you weren't just completely spamming it and obliterating your opponents. And then the rest of them, version 4.2 to version 6, to version 6, they were all just scaling issues. I just retested it with different people, and the ones in yellow are where I recorded it. And one that isn't on here, as you can see at the bottom, is the final test. I also recorded that one. Version 4.2 to version 4.6 were just making sure everything worked correctly. The scaling was fine, so you could complete a round in, say, 20 minutes if you knew what you were doing, maybe 25. And so it was just making sure that you wouldn't get bored and everything just worked in like a well-oiled machine. And that is it for my presentation. Thank you for listening, I guess.